Okay, so this is the HMIS user meeting. It's supposed to be for December, but because of the holiday, it got pushed to January. And this is Erin from 211 Orange County, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Please put in the chat box what agency you're with so we know who is here. And also, while we're going, if you have any questions, please feel free to share them in the chat and we can answer them as we go. And we'll also have time at the end for questions also. So first off, the usual suspects are on the call. Myself, Casey, Elizabeth, Mai, and Chris. Adriana is luckier than all of us and is on vacation, but she'll be back for the next meeting. So here's our agenda. It looks like a lot, but I don't think we're going to need the full hour today. And so let's just get started. Okay, so first for version 6. Most of these updates are in regards to reports. So for the HMIS data quality report, we found out from Tech that in order for a client to show up on the report, they must be verified and have a service during the reporting period in order to be included. That being said, we did find out also that there are some clients that meet this criteria and still aren't showing up on the report. So we have a ticket in with Tech to fix this. But once the report is working correctly, that's what needs to happen in order for a client to be included on the report. For the APR reports, same thing, they must be verified and have a service during the reporting period in order to show up on the report. So if you're looking at your APRs and clients are missing, it's most likely for that reason. And something else to keep in mind for the APRs is that there are some questions that don't necessarily apply to all of your clients. It could be clients enrolled after a certain date or just ahead of households or different things like that. So if you think clients are missing from your APR, please let us know and we can either fix the report or let you know who is being included for that specific question so you have the right information. For the client service aging report, we know a lot of you have been asking for this report. It is scheduled to be released in early February. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this report just shows a list of all the clients in your project and the last date those clients received a service. For the universal data elements and program-specific data elements reports, we have not received a release date yet. We're still working with Tech on that, so we'll keep you updated. Tech also designed a new data export page to replace the existing export schedule page. We were hoping to do a demo on that today, but our tickets were just closed yesterday, so we didn't have time. So at the next user meeting, we're expecting to be able to demo that new page for you. I'm going to stop really quick and see if there's any questions. So far, it looks like no. So I'm going to keep going. Feel free to type in any questions as we go along, and we can answer those for you. All right. Children's and Families Commission. So we have uncovered a bunch of issues recently with the Children's and Families Commission data. So we just wanted to highlight those specifically for your reference. So first of all, right now the CFCOC entry and exit assessments are on the enrollment page. And based on conversations we've been having with Tech, we think we're going to have to move them to the case notes page. And the reason for that is because on the enrollment page, you can only have one assessment per client for that type of assessment. So we would only be able to do one CFCOC entry or exit assessment on that page. But on the case notes page, you can do as many as you want. So we're pretty sure we're going to have to move the assessments there. We'll keep you updated as that develops. We also found in regards to assessments that from version 5 to version 6, the assessments were migrated under the incorrect household member. So they did get migrated. It's just because of the change in data structure that we've talked about before, where each client had an enrollment to the head of household having an enrollment for the entire family. Some of the assessments went under the head of household instead of the client that actually received the assessment. So we're working on fixing that. Probably the biggest issue has to do with the CFCOC bed nights. We found first that not all bed nights have been migrated to version 6 for Children's and Families Commission. So we're working with ADSYS Tech on that. And we also have found that the group services page works to provide a bed night or any other group service on the specific date, but scheduling the bed night to occur in the future is not working. So we're working on with ADSYS Tech to fix that. And both of these bed night issues are, we've asked ADSYS Tech to make high priority because I think these are the biggest issues that we're facing for Children's and Families Commission. Another issue that we found is that in version 5 on the case notes page, you were able to choose, there's an activity dropdown where you could choose if you want to provide a weekly case management service or a developmental screening and assessment service, but that is not there in version 6. So we are working with ADSYS Tech to fix that. Yeah, we could also move these to the services page, but that might be more trouble than it's worth. So we're still working through that. We'll keep you updated on that also. And finally, the CFCOC services provided general report is scheduled to be fixed by mid-month. So that is hopefully good news. We're gonna, when it's fixed, we'll test it and we'll let you know. And if you guys run into any issues, you can put in tickets and we can work on those also. But we're hoping that this is going to be kind of the hump that we get over for the reporting for Children's and Families Commission. Let me see if there's any questions. No questions so far. All right. Clarity, the good news. So 2110C has gone through the system administrator training. It was a 3-part training, so that was good. We have also finished the initial project setup spreadsheets, which were very time consuming because it includes all the agencies and all the projects and their funding sources and their beds and all that information since 2012, so that was a lot of work. So that initial spreadsheet has been completed, and we assigned 5 agencies for bid focus to enter into Clarity, and 2110C is responsible for completing the rest of the setup. So that's due by March 1st, which we're working on. We also have to do, I mean, there's a lot of spreadsheets, but the next spreadsheet we also have to do is one to track all of the custom fields that we have currently. So that includes any fields that the COC agreed on. For example, is this client referred from CES question, or the city you're residing in prior to entry question, as well as any custom assessments that any agencies requested, like the CFCOC entry and exit assessments and other assessments like that. We're making a spreadsheet of all of that to be migrated over. And we are also still working on fixing the data issues that BidFocus found when we sent them our test export. And we are aiming to have all those issues fixed by February 1st so that we can do another test with them. So let me see if we have any questions. The question came in about CFCOC. Is CFC aware of these issues? We just finished quarter 2 of the grant, and we will need to report to them by the 10th of this month. Rose, I'm planning to include this. So when we do the minutes for this meeting, we're going to include a little bit more detail about this stuff. And I'm going to send that to Margarita so that she is on the same page, so that they'll have that information. All right, so the next topic is a project performance report. So I'm going to let Casey take over.
Oh, you can't hear me, Lisa?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So we scrapped our plan to do project performance reports by the end of 2017. Basically, we didn't think that it would be right to use preliminary data from version 5 and then use final data in version 6 without giving you guys the chance to see the data from version 6. So we're going to do a different reporting period than we had originally planned on last year. So the reporting period for the next project performance report will be January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017, which matches the last project performance report we did, which was for the same time period in 2016. So the way we're going to do this is to pull some ad hocs, and I'm going to start working on those this week. We will send you guys a draft of the report and a timeline for making corrections before we publish the final report. So we'll be sending out an email with that to agency administrators once we have our timeline more firm. So if anyone has any questions, let us know in the chat box. I think that's all I have, Erin.
Okay, no questions yet, but I'll keep checking.
Okay. Okay, so the AHAR. So as you guys can see, all of our categories were usable except for emergency shelter individual. And the reason that emergency shelter individual wasn't usable is because we have some big projects that are not participating in HMIS. So our overall bed coverage is below 50%. We kind of saw this coming when we started the AHAR. So the fact that all of our other categories are usable is really good. And we will be posting more detail about the AHAR on ochmis.org. And we'll include a link to that in the minutes when we send it out after this meeting. Okay, Erin, can you let me share my screen?
Yeah, hold on. Maybe. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is what the data quality calendar will eventually look like. So it'll be a page on our website, and as you can see, I've already set up a test event that repeats on the 1st of every month. And you'll be able to come down here to this little subscribe menu and just select whatever calendar you use. The most common are going to be Google and Outlook. But if you use something else that isn't on here, you can always export to XML, and then you can import it using whatever calendar program that you use. And this is an example of what the event will look like. So I wanted to show you guys this because we haven't released the calendar yet because we were waiting to get the universal data elements and program-specific data elements reports from AdsysTech, because that's how we were planning on creating instructions for your data quality corrections. So in the event, it will have links probably to knowledge base articles that outline kind of what you should be looking for every month. And we just haven't wanted to release the calendar before we had that ready, because we're not sure that a calendar that just says like check your data quality would be super useful. But if it would, let us know. So I'm going to take this off, Erin, and then can we have the slide again?
Next one.
just another minute on this one. So if you guys have any feedback for us about the data quality calendar, please let us know. Also, something new we discovered in the Clarity system admin training is that Clarity's built-in calendar function looks really cool and useful. So we're planning on incorporating APR due dates for each agency into like the user's calendar for that agency, if that makes sense. So yeah, we're excited about that. If you have anything you would like to share with us about the data quality calendar, what you think would be useful, please let us know. Okay, that's it, Erin. Okay, so we have a question in HMIS that goes, what city were you residing in immediately prior to entry to this project? And we received some feedback recently that the word residing is a little confusing. So we were thinking about changing the wording of this question. So if anyone has any feedback about this, ideas of how we could make this question more clear, please let us know.
And if you want to, if you have an idea now and you want to unmute yourself instead of put it in the chat, that's fine too. While you're thinking about that, we did get a question. The calendar will remind us to run reports, correct, Casey?
Yeah, that's correct, Rose. So we're planning on having like a list of different reports that you should run, instructions on how to run them and what you should be looking for in them. And we wanted to get that all finished before we release the calendar to you. So because we're still missing some reports like the client service aging report, we haven't released the calendar yet. But yeah, that's how it's going to function.
And it'll include something about, you know, like we're doing the report cards this day, so do your data quality by then or something like that. So you'll have reminders to look at your data. And I'm not seeing any feedback so far on the city prior to entry question. I'm hoping that means it's worded okay. But if you do think of something after the meeting, you can put it something to the help desk, and we can consider that change in wording. HMIS forms. So let me unmute my. Oh, another question. Can we just remove the word residing and leave the rest as is? So what city were you in immediately prior to entry into this project? Yeah, I mean, does anybody have any feedback for or against that? What city were you in immediately prior to entry into this project? What city did you sleep in last night? That would make sense. The only thing that we've heard before is from clients saying, "What if we didn't sleep?" I don't know if that's confusing. So everybody think about it. We'll bring it up again at the end. Mai, are you there? Hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Mine is coming on right now.
Okay, hi everyone, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so HMIS forms. So the exit forms have been updated to match HMIS version 6 terminology and workflow. We have custom forms for projects that receive PAF, RI, FFVF, VASH, and COC ESG funding. We also have general forms for projects that do not receive federal funding. And then for intake forms, they have been updated to incorporate the feedback we receive on the intake form that were published on November 11. So thank you to all those users who provided suggestions. Both of the intake and exit English forms can be downloaded from the HMIS forms and document page on our website. If you have any questions about the forms update, please contact the help desk. And then next will be the Spanish intake and exam forms that we'll be working on. Okay, agency and administrative training. So again, the status update is in final draft. We're just doing some final cleaning, and then it should be ready. AA training will be required for all agency administrators to take. So pretty much what this means is that for those who already taken the training, you guys will have to retake the training. And the reason for that is because we make some changes in the training to include some new content, such as reactivate enrollments, deactivate account profile, expert schedules, CSV file. We've also added info on agency audits and included Excel basics. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, concerns.
Yeah, so we wanted to make the training required for all agency administrators because there is new content, especially on audits and some functionality in version 6. And the original agency administrator training was more focused on how to train your users, which is not really an issue anymore because we're posting all of our trainings online. So we thought it would be a good idea for all the agency administrators to go through again. It'll be a lot shorter than the previous training. If anybody has strong objections to this, now would be a good time to let us know. Or you can also put in something to the help desk, but we just, we don't want to overburden you, but we do think that there's going to be new content that all the agency administrators need to have. I don't see anything yet, so we'll move on, and then if anything comes up, we can address it.
Okay, HMIS Part 1. So there's not much besides the fact that it's updated. So everything in Part 1 should be up to date and matches version 6. So if you guys have any new users, Part 1 is ready to be for any new users to take. Then that's it. Okay.
So let me stop sharing so you can share.
Okay, can everyone see my screen? Oh, okay. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo on how to add annual assessment. And so to do that, let me Search for the client first. Okay, so before adding an annual assessment, make sure your client is verified. That way, when you go to the household history page, the add button is on. So you click the household history page, it takes you to your client. So in this example, XXL. So like I said, if you verify your client, the add button will be on. And you can go here to add. And then enter in your date. Just keep in mind that the annual assessment must be recorded no more than 30 days before or after the anniversary date of the client's project entry date. If the date is outside of that, it will not be captured in the APRs. So it would just, when you run your APR, it will look like it's missing when there's an annual assessment because it's outside. So just make sure it's within the 30 days. So if you look, if you can see the enrollment date project entry is last year of 2017. And so we put in today's date. So once you add, it will appear here. And then you can click on the review annual assessment and then go to detail tab. And then from here, this is where you can edit and make all your updates.
Can you show them where to edit the dates?
Yeah.
The assessment was done in case they need to change it.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, if your client's date is outside of that 30 days, and you can come here and click here, and then this is where you fix your date so that it's within the 30 days before and after the project entry date. I think that's it. Any questions? And the date's also here too, where you tell whether if it's within 30 days or when it's created.
So this page can be used, it's used for annual assessments. So every time your client's year anniversary comes up, then you would do a new annual assessment. You can also use this page for updates if something occurs during the course of the year. That would be the update option that that was there when Mai created this record that in that review type. Yeah, so I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We mostly wanted to show where you can change the review date if you do need to. And I'm going to look and see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions. So, all right. So Mike, can you stop sharing and then we'll go back to the slides? Okay, so let me make sure Elizabeth is unmuted. Okay, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Hi, all. So can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's January, which means that it's the time of the housing inventory count, or HIC, and the point in time count, or PIT. Many of you know that the HIC is a count of all beds and units dedicated to serve homeless clients in each continuum of care, and that the PIT is a count of sheltered and unsheltered homeless persons in the continuum of care. So because of this, you as homeless providers are vital to data collection because you provide information about the units and beds in your projects and information about your sheltered clients. We want to provide the best support to agencies for their collaboration with 211 in the county in submitting this data to HUD. So we will provide training and Q&A sessions to make the process as easy as possible. This is our schedule of events for the HIC and PIT. First off, we will have training on HIC and PIT data collection. These will be held as online webinars similar to this meeting on Wednesday, January 17th and Thursday, January 18th. The webinars will cover how to fill out the HIC and PIT forms and new HIC and PIT data collection requirements mandated by HUD. These webinars are recommended for all emergency shelter, transitional housing, rapid rehousing, other permanent housing, and permanent supportive housing projects. So through these trainings, you will learn how to properly fill out your forms for the data collected on the night of the HIC and PIT counts. So the night of the HIC and PIT counts is scheduled for Friday, January 26th. That's a little bit more than 3 weeks away from now. And after that, we would like for the agencies to have all of their data complete in HMIS by Thursday, February 1st. So that's the week following the night of the HIC and PIT counts. By that, we mean that all agencies should have all of their data through January 26th entered into HMIS. This is critical as HMIS data must match what's on the HIC and PIT forms. And one of the most common reasons for required revisions of HIC and PIT forms is that data on the forms does not match what's in HMIS. So you can save a lot of time for yourself in revisions if you have all your entry-exit data through January 26th completed by February 1st. So then next slide. So that covers pre-HIC and PIT counts, and then before the forms are due, we will hold open office sessions. So HIC PIT pre-due date open office sessions. They're going to be held February 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 7th. So we want to provide enough opportunities for everybody to have the chance to come to these if they need to. These are like office hours to assist in completing the forms, and they're Q&A sessions for any questions you have about filling out the forms. You should arrive with all of your data through January 26th entered into HMIS. And then it works best if you have specific questions about how to fill out the forms and if you've already tried filling out the form, the HIC and PIT form before you arrive. So that makes it more of a problem solving and Q&A session. And after that, we will have the HIC and PIT form due dates, which is Friday, February 9th. So that's 2 weeks after the HIC and PIT count. Agencies should send their HIC and PIT forms through 2211OC through the help desk and just select the HIC and PIT category so it gets sent to the right person. And then we will also have revision or post-due date open office sessions. So after you turn in your forms, there may be revisions in order to finalize your forms. These sessions are meant to help you with any issues or to sort of expedite the process of finalizing the forms. To schedule a revision open office session with us, we require for you to RSVP by March 2nd, and then we will have the meetings on the week of March 5th. So again, these are office hours to answer questions regarding revisions and to help assist in finalizing the forms. So that is our schedule of events. And we hope to see you at these trainings. And again, if you have any other questions throughout the process, you can always submit a question to the help desk. But we hope through these trainings and the schedule that you'll have enough support to make the process easy. And that's all I have.
And we will be sending out a separate email with links to register and for the webinars and for the open office sessions with specific times and everything. So you'll have more information. This is just the high-level overview. Check in for questions. Doesn't look like there's anything. Okay, so we actually are through the content that we had. So if anybody has any questions for us, anything they want to see or any troubleshooting, anything like that, we can do that now. You can either unmute yourself and ask a question or put something in the chat, and we can do that. So we'll just sit a minute and see if anything comes up, and if not, then that will be all that we have for today. So feel free to ask questions. So we got a question, before the question, we got some people really not looking forward to the Hick and Fit, and I'm right there with them. But anyway, we got a question. Are we still on track with our clarity timeline, AKA the light at the end of the tunnel? Yes. So as of now, we are still on track. For those that don't know, the expected go live for clarity is April 1st, or end of March, early April. So yes, we are on track. And right now, it's looking like there'll be about a week or two that from when we transition from Tech to Clarity, we're going to have to export the data from HMIS and then give it to Clarity for them to migrate in. And so it sounds like at this point that that process is going to be about a week or two. So that will mean that any new data or anything that needs to be put into a new system, you'll probably have to track that all manually for about a week or two before that data can be entered into Clarity. And that's tentative right now. We'll know more as we get closer, but that's kind of something to keep in mind, is that we essentially won't have a HMIS for about a week or two. You can still go into Tech, but you shouldn't do any data entry because it won't be migrated over. But that's just, and we'll provide more information on that. But that's just something to think about. But yes, we are on track as of now for the April 1st go live. I haven't seen any other questions come in. If you haven't already, please put in which agency you're with so we can track who was here. We will be publishing the recording of this webinar as well as the meeting minutes with some information about what we talked about. We might have another webinar at the end of this month. Since this was supposed to be the December user meeting, we may have one in January, at the end of January. It'll kind of depend on how much content we have and if it's worthwhile for everyone. If not, we will schedule, I believe it's an in-person one for February. So we'll provide more information on that also. Other than that, I think that's it. Thanks for your patience, everyone, as we work through all this stuff. I know it's rough for everybody. And if you think of any questions, please put in the ticket to the help desk. Or if you think of any other wording that you prefer for that residing to prior to entry question, let us know that also. Other than that, thanks for watching and have a great day, guys. Bye.